Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is straight out of Boston here, and today I'm back for episode number 15 of my Tampa Bay Rays Let's Play series here on Out of the Park Baseball 18. So today we're back with the 2019 offseason, heading into the year 2020. We are coming off of an appearance in the World Series, a 7-game defeat at the hands of the Los Angeles Dodgers. That was a pretty crazy series. We fought very hard in the playoffs, definitely got further than I expected us to. We were only a 93-win team in the regular season, and our run differential, 91-71, Pythagorean win-loss, or expected record, as this game would phrase it, but definitely got further than I thought we would. Like I said, we were a good team in the regular season, but not the best team by any means. And we definitely just didn't have the firepower to match up with that Los Angeles team. But we have good news moving forward. So I already advanced into the beginning of the offseason. We got a couple pretty important messages here. Our market size increase, and a personal message from Stuart Sternberg, our owner, to below average, which obviously still not very good. But the fact that it increases is good for us because that way we'll be pulling in more revenue, which means we can invest more on the payroll. So you can see our new budget is up from where it began. We're going to be able to have a $110 million payroll, which allows us to do more things, obviously, financially, investing in our roster. As we, like I said, I mean, we definitely, and you don't have to have, you don't have to be as good as the Dodgers to be the Dodgers in the 7-game series. Obviously, you want to be to give yourself the best chance, but in baseball, anything can happen in 7 games. We saw that in that series because we did take them to 7 games. So, we feel like we just, if we add a couple more pieces, we could definitely be there again. But, there are definitely holes on this roster, or places I'd like to upgrade. Not necessarily holes. I mean, we got production from a lot of different spots, but, places moving forward, I mean, we don't really have a lot of guys set in stone. I mean, I think Rizzo is going to be here for the next couple of years because he's pretty affordable. He's coming off of a good season, especially after we traded for him. He's 30 years old, though, and his skills are diminishing a little bit. So, I mean, we do have so many corner guys. Maybe it is the right time to flip him, even though he did play so well for us in the second half. And I do like his skill set. Good defender, good power, good eye. Also, a guy like Kiermaier and Josh Bell, I think, are two other, sort of cornerstone guys that I want to keep, especially Bell offensively and what Kiermaier provides defensively. I think that's a really good mix. Bowers had a really good year. He's a 4.5-star player now, solidified. He still makes the minimum, too. I mean, a lot of it comes down to financially, what guys are making at this point in their careers. And Gillespie, Bowers, and Tellez are all still making the minimum. But, because if we do keep Rizzo, we're going to have one extra guy. That is probably the guy we would look to move if we wanted to get an infielder. Because our infield was definitely not great. We were sort of rotating a bunch of guys in there throughout the year. Alan Hansen. Adams was hurt for most of the year, so he didn't get a chance. And, he could at least, well, his defense is not that great, but maybe he could serve a backup role. Hansen, though, has played relatively well for us the last couple of years, but his skill set is not that great. He's been better than replacement level. He played over 140 games each of the last 2 years, and in total 4.2 F4, so not too bad. Or not F4, but whatever this game uses for WAR. So, that's really not too bad, but it's, it's definitely an upgradable spot. Andy Ibanez, appears to have the skills, but hasn't really put it together. I think I would still bring him back and give him one of the jobs at second or third base next year. But if we could get a good shortstop, I mean, that's a rare commodity. But if we could invest in, if we had that opportunity, that would probably be like our number one goal to get this offseason. And then I also just think improving the bullpen. Giving us more weapons out of the bullpen. I like our rotation for the most part, even though Daniel Norris was not too great. He's another guy I could shop at some point, but just to see what his value is. Because he wasn't great after we got him, and of course he was really struggling in Detroit when we traded for him. And I had brought him over hoping he would improve, hoping he would sort of reach his potential, but hasn't done that yet. The rest of the rotation, though, these 3 guys, I mean, Honeywell's coming off of almost a 4-win season. His ERA wasn't great, but the peripherals were pretty good strikeout to walk ratio. And then Snell was pretty good for us for the beginning of the year and then sort of tailed off towards the end. Obviously he has the control problems, but still 4.5 stars. So you like that. And then Chris Sale. So looking at guys who are arbitration eligible as well as free agents, we have Zobrist, who we don't have the ability to offer a competent or a qualifying offer to, obviously, but we really wouldn't offer him one anyway. Only $6 million he is what he's looking for, but I don't really think we need to bring him back. We definitely have, I mean, he would probably just be a bench player for us, and we have guys who can fill in for making the minimum. Travis is another option on the infield. I don't really know if I want to bring him back making $2.6 million just because we have guys there that we can fill in that I really think aren't going to be that much of a downgrade from Travis. if a downgrade at all. Morin, we want back. We'll take him at $4 million. Felipe Rivero, he's got 2 years left before he is a free agent. We have Alex Colome, who is a free agent next year. He's coming off of a down year. He would be another guy we could potentially trade, and Norris. So, these guys I'm going to shop around. I'm going to look at different deals, search around for options, and I don't really know if I'm going to get anything now. I'm definitely going to be patient unless I get the right deal or find the right package, sort of just maneuvering with the trades in this game. But I'm going to be patient. If I don't find anything, I can wait till free agency. We have some money. We also have team options on our catchers. I almost forgot. Also, the disabled list got lengthened to 14 days. Personnel leaving, pitching coach Jim Hickey. We wanted the new pitching coach anyway. I remember that was a conscious decision not to re-sign him or give him an extension in the middle of the year. Let's hire this guy, Doug Brokaw. Power pitchers, that's what we want. We have a couple of those. Give him 3 years. That money. And then the catchers. So this is an interesting one too, actually, because Sal Perez, $13 million option. I'm probably not going to pick that up. I might try to trade him, but I don't think I'm going to pick that up and pay him $13 million. If I tried to give him, I bet I could sign him for less. Well, I would have to decline the option to see. Wieters for $4.5 million. I'm going to decline that. But all right, add Perez into the list of guys that I'm going to be shopping around. And if I can't get rid of him, then I will probably just decline his option, because that will free up my money for extension as it currently stands from $10 million to $23 million, which would be very nice. This is something sort of interesting that I stumbled upon. Willie Adams seems to have quite a bit of trade value around the league. I'm actually getting better offers for him than I did for guys like Gillespie and Rowdy Tellez. I mean, I didn't get Kyle Schwarber offered for either. Schwarber, not really what I'm looking for right now. Although one of the younger players I'd be interested in. The Sepulveda guy was offered for Tellez. He is a little bit intriguing as an option, for a middle infielder, but it doesn't really look like he's going to be like a star either as a fielder or with the bat. So I wasn't sold on him. This Hazley guy I haven't seen. Good fielder, but not impact potential with the bat. Stewart, I looked at this Christian Stewart guy. He was really intriguing because he obviously has good discipline and good power, and he looked pretty good as a professional for the Dodgers in his... I guess he got traded mid-season, actually. That's interesting. But he looked pretty good all around last season. But again, I'm not really looking for a corner bat. I want more of an up-the-middle player, specifically an infielder. Jake Thompson, also a guy I thought about. But like I said, not really looking to touch a rotation. I could use a number 5 starter to replace De Leon, but not a huge need for me. This is what I was most intrigued by, though, is Jose Trevino, who got offered to me for Gillespie. And I think Trevino could be a nice little catcher to replace Perez and Wieters. Decent with the bat, good contact ratings, and, kind of evidenced by... Well, like I said, it was only a 20 AB sample, so hard to say, but before that he hadn't really hit, and he still hasn't really hit at the major league level, but I think his bat would be solid enough, and his glove is looking really good, so I like that out of the catcher, and he's durable, and he does have 5 years left of team control, so he would be a nice catcher for us for the next couple of years. And swapping Willie Adams, I think, Adams, kind of a limited player in that he's not going to be a good defensive player, and his avoid K rating is really low. We had other offers. These Braves offers I kind of like. Travis Demeritte, actually the other guy, Austin Riley, looked a little bit more intriguing to me because of his power and eye potential. Kind of the same as that guy on the Dodgers, except Demeritte can play third base and play relatively well. So that's why I kind of liked him. But I think I'm going to go with the catcher from Texas, just because catchers are definitely a bigger commodity than third baseman, and Trevino looks like a solid player to me. Not going to be spectacular for us by any means. He'll definitely hit at the bottom of our lineup for, probably his entire time here, but I would say still a catcher who we could slot in there for the next couple of years. And he's a good clubhouse guy. Didn't even really look at that, but that's good to see. So Trevino looking like our catcher. We're going to just decline the options on Perez and Wieters. Perez, I got no offers for, and Wieters I already declined, so... And another move we're going to make is we're just going to release Chris Archer. His ratings at this point are so diminished, he's not even worth keeping around. We are better off. I mean, he was bad for the most part last year. I actually didn't realize he was that bad. But we are just going to end up releasing him. We would honestly been better off, I mean, -1 WAR. The question is, do we want to pay it now or spread it across the life of his contract? I think we're going to spread because we're in win now mode right now. So as much money as we can get back, we would like to invest on this year's roster. So, other than that, I don't think I'm going to trade Norris. I didn't get great offers for him. Alright, so I did find a nice little Devin Travis trade I'm going to pull off here. Actually, I didn't even get through all my offers, honestly, before I looked at it. Brad Miller being offered back. I'm kind of glad we got rid of him after giving him the extension. I don't really think I'd be wanting to pay him what he's earning right now. Although, honestly, he'd be better than my other options up the middle. I would say he probably could have helped us last postseason, so... Anyway, I'm going to make a deal for Liam Hendricks. He is arbitration eligible, and he has 1 more year. I had forgotten if they did this. I guess they did increase the service time before free agency by a year. I'd forgotten if they did that or not. But no, yes, now I remember that they did because Hendricks, arbitration eligible this year apparently, even though he does have 6 full years of service. Anyway, he's been a quality reliever in the past, and our scouts still like him. He was the highest rated player that got offered to us for Travis, and I think he could have a nice bounce back year for us, at least potentially, and worst case, it's only a 1 year investment, so we will re-sign him, pay him what he wants, and that'll be a cheaper option than Colomé, who I just don't know if I want to pay the $9 million. I think to maximize the money we could use on free agents, I don't know. I mean, let's see what kind of free agents are going to be available. Obviously, some of these guys could still be re-signed, but so far, no one too intriguing at the top of the market. Carpenter, kind of interesting, but he probably couldn't play. I guess he could play third base for me. But no good shortstop, really, it seems. Kipnis, oh, yeah, I wouldn't want him. So, honestly, free agent market not looking like the best. We do have guys who have been posted by the international leagues. It includes Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani, who is not really looking like he's going to be a great player. But, yeah, $8.5 million. And I think it's I don't think he's going to play 2 ways in the MLB. I think it's just too unrealistic to expect someone to be able to be because you think about how good you have to be successful in Major League Baseball, and to expect someone to invest. I mean, it's basically like a full-time job to invest the time it takes to be a good hitter every day or a good pitcher. That's an everyday workload, and I mean, to expect somebody like Ohtani to be able to do both of those things at the Major League level, I think is unreasonable. So I think he'll probably end up pitching, but this closer, I don't really know if he's worth investing $7 million a year into. He looks like he would be good, but probably not great. I don't know. He doesn't have overwhelming stuff, which is what you usually want to see out of a reliever. But we'll probably just wait off on relievers. But yeah, man, these free agents this does not look like a great free agent class. I mean, we could go after a starter potentially, like a Yu Darvish, if we could get him on a shorter term deal. But I don't want to invest big money into guys like McCutcheon and Carpenter. Addison Reed would be nice. I'm sure he's going to look for a nice contract, although not coming off of his best year. All right, so we are at the first day of free agency. First thing we always do, take a look at the international free agents. Sometimes you can find some gems in these, and I saw a pretty nice catcher right there. Boy, would that throw a wrench in our plans, and a good left fielder. This guy looks like a boss. Ooh, $20 million would be a steep price, but that is definitely an impact bet. Let's look at the catcher, though. This would be, this would be the move. $14 million, good hitting ratings and good fielding ratings as well. We did just make that trade for Trevino, but if we're going to make a big free agent investment, that looks like the move, I think, over any of these other guys. And we do have money to spend. We might sort of be bailed out by one of those guys becoming available. The left fielder's nice, too. He's going to be a good hitter, but we have guys at the corner spots, and he's not a good fielder, which I do not like, obviously. The good thing about the catcher is he does have good ratings behind the dish. So we re-signed the guys that we did not trade. I didn't non-tender anybody. Colomé is back. Norris is back. And we still don't really have an option at shortstop. I was looking at our prospects, and this one guy, Kevin Padlow, could step in and be a productive third baseman for us. He has pretty good numbers in the minor leagues, decent numbers in the minor leagues. He's kind of been rushed, so he'll probably start next year at AAA, and we'll see how he goes. We have other options for the infield, but none that really I think I would want to slot in there as the everyday player. More the bench player status. which is why that Trevino trade, I mean, we only gave up Willie Adams, so worst case, it's not really that big of a loss if we just keep Trevino as a backup or end up moving him down the road. But award-wise, Chris Sale did win the Cy Young, which was pretty cool. And then I think we had a Silver Slugger from Jake Bowers in left field. And other than that, we didn't place in anything. But yeah, Sale winning the Cy Young was cool. He had a really good second half, turned it on, and became the AL Cy Young Award winner. So let's see how much money we have right now. Because I didn't non-tender Colome or anything or dump his salary, I am left with a little bit less money, but still a ton of money to spend. So we're definitely going to make a run at that catcher then. That's too obvious. We'll start at probably $15 million a year. And he is 27 years old, so let's do 5 years. And try to get him with a team-friendly deal with those 2 team options at the end. So that would be $75 million over 5 years. And that still leaves us with $24 million to invest. So there are some good starters on the market. Adding another starting pitcher would really make our rotation a strength on our roster. This Alfredo Despaigne is available too. He is coming off of 2 really good years in the Japanese league. Wow. He looks like he could provide. And he's a right-handed bat too, which I like. I mean, we have a lot of good lefties in our lineup. Not a lot of good right-handed bats. And adding a right-handed corner outfielder is something I had wanted to do. I see Chris Davis got non-tendered. He would be an interesting option, a much cheaper option, just to fill in every once in a while, left field, right field, DH. The bullpen is the other thing I really wanted to invest some money into. Addison Reed is looking for just south of $12 million a year, which I don't really want to invest in a reliever. I'd be looking for a little bit cheaper than that. Will Smith would give us another option as a lefty at a much cheaper price. So I might go after Will Smith. He's got very good stuff, strikes out a lot of batters. Could be well suited to be used situationally. Well, that did not take long. Luis Rojas signs on with the $75 million offer that I gave him. So that's a huge get, obviously. Big upgraded catcher from last year. Now, I decided to wait on Despaigne, see if his market would subdue a little bit, but he ends up signing for almost $60 million total for 4 years, and that's all guaranteed. So that's a steep price for a guy who, obviously is unproven at the major league level, although has put up some monster seasons in Japan, which is something to take note of. And I don't remember, does he have a history in the major leagues? I don't know if he's ever played in the major leagues before. I don't remember. But obviously, familiar name. He's played at the World Baseball Classic in the past. So the closer, Naoa, this guy signs for under $6 million a year. That wouldn't have been that steep of a price to pay for Masuda, the Japanese closer from the Seibu Lions. So some guys off the market pretty quickly. I was being patient, seeing if markets would develop for guys where maybe the demands would go down. But that has not been the case so far. So we have just a little bit more than $20 million left to spend. I don't want to, I don't think investing all of that in a guy like Darvish is smart. I think signing a guy for maybe in the $10 million range is a bit more appropriate for us. But the question is who to spend that money on, obviously. So right now, as it stands, Addison Reed only looking for a 1-year offer. And, we have enough money where I think if it's only for 1 year, that's not going to tie up our money long term, which is nice. So I think Reed could be a good option. And, if he has a good enough year, we can give him that qualifying offer at the end of the year. Jose Leclerc is a guy I didn't even realize, but he's coming out of our organization looking for, I guess he must have been a minor league free agent. He did he appeared in 13 games for us at the end of the year. It was not very good, but he has really, really good minor league numbers, which is something to take note of at the very least. But, interesting that he struggled so much at the end of the year. Will Smith is still a guy, I think, just as a situational lefty, what he's looking for demand-wise, that makes too much sense not to do. I'm going to go after him sooner rather than later. And then past that, I signed Trace Thompson to a 1-year, $950,000. I guess that's actually still a pending offer, but he's likely to sign that. He's more of a depth option. I don't really think he solves that right-handed fourth outfielder sort of hole that I have. I think Chris Davis is probably going to be the guy that I bring in for that. But all right, let's offer Addison Reed 1 year at $11 million. And then maybe we make those offers to Will Smith and Chris Davis. And that would be $6 more million if we offer them 3 each. Davis, I don't really want more than a 1-year deal. And Will Smith, I might give team options to. Maybe. Perhaps we could do 2,500 for him. Let's do team options. All right, so that leaves us with $6 million left, which is right around where I would want to stop spending. And then we still have trades to make. I mean, we don't have a shortstop, so there's still the potential to package one of our corner guys, our left-handed cornerbacks, and maybe even throw in that Trevino, our catcher, for a shortstop, because that's really the glaring hole on our roster, and there just weren't options to fill that hole or plug that hole in free agency this year. So now the Cubs getting involved in the Addison Reed sweepstakes and offering upwards of $14 million a year. I don't like that, so I'm gonna do like a little 2-year phony vesting option sort of deal here, and I'm gonna make the thing games finished, and let's just say like 40, because that option's probably not gonna vest. So we'll do that. And that immediately puts us back at the top of the sweepstakes. And we'll see if the Cubs match. All right, so now the Orioles getting into it with Reed. And, yep, they're offering him. Or now Reed wants 27. We're going to offer him 27. He was looking for closer to 28. But this is like the most I'm probably going to go with him. I don't really want to do much more than that because we're really starting to tie up a lot of our money now. And Will Smith getting a better offer from Seattle. Let's just go to $3 million. And we'll do the same. Let's just do one team option for next year at $3 million. Oh, he won't even do that. How about $3 million for 3 years? Does he think that's better? He does. Doesn't make any sense, but all right. All right. So Rule 5 draft time, and we will see. Usually, well, not usually, but sometimes you can find worthy relievers, and this year would not be a bad year to pick up a. Ooh, actually, there are decent guys. Someone got picked. We lost David Rodriguez, a catcher. Whatever, he has no potential with the bat, so I'm not really too salty about that. Although it could have been a decent backup, but oh well. Really not, like I said, not mad about that. This Emmanuel Valdez guy, our scouts certainly like him. Would he be worth picking and just plucking in there as a backup? Honestly, you have to consider it. Based on his potential Padlo, wow, yikes. Let's get him on there, on our Major League roster. I didn't realize I left him unprotected. This Steven Wren guy is 25 years old. Meh. Doesn't look that great. Valdez might be the only guy really worth picking. Let's go by overall. There's Preston Tucker. Preston Tucker's not bad. I wish he was right-handed if I really wanted him, but I think I'm going to take this infielder and just see if he makes it through spring training. If not, worst case, we release him back. I mean, that's the thing about the Rule 5 draft is there's almost no downside in drafting guys, I find. Other than the fact that you have to make room for them on your 40-man, but that's usually not a problem. Like, let's just go to our 40-man and DFA the lowest rated guy. Daniel Robertson, I think we can do without him on the 40-man, especially with this much higher valued player in Emmanuel Valdez. So we'll draft him, and that'll be our Rule 5 draft. All right, so I am officially pulling out of the Addison Russell sweepstakes. Chicago just pushing too hard for him at this point. I don't want to offer him a longer-term contract, so that frees up a lot of money still. That means if we did want to make a trade, we could possibly trade for a guy with a higher salary than we had previously considered, especially in terms of thinking about getting a shortstop. But that's probably our best course of action at this point, just based on the guys that are still available. Michael Brantley would be kind of interesting, especially because he's really not looking for that much, but probably wouldn't be more than a DH. I don't know, though. Could still be. I don't know. It might be worth a shot if it's that little money. We'll see on him, though. I don't really think he's going to have any suitors as it stands, especially because he is hurt. Well, there just aren't that many good deals around for shortstops. I'm thinking that one of our best options might honestly be Jose Ramirez from the Cleveland Indians, and I'm not really necessarily considering giving up Jose De Leon for him, but I think we could get Ramirez at a reasonable price, and oh yeah, we could definitely get him for a guy like Alan Hansen. I think that's an easy deal to make. We'll shop around Hansen, make sure there aren't any better offers out there for him, but I couldn't imagine. And, Ramirez, very cost controllable. He got re-signed on that really cheap extension that Cleveland gave him last year, and can play all three infield positions. He doesn't play shortstop quite as well as he plays the other spots, but I think if we played him at shortstop more, his rating would go up. So I'm thinking he could be a plug-in at shortstop. I'm not sure if he's the long-term option, but the thing about him is he's good enough that, you know, when we think we might have our shortstop in the future, we can move him to third base or second base. And Schwarber keeps popping up in deals, but I just don't think... We have plenty of... I mean, honestly, if I was going to go for the Schwarber type, I would just get that guy from LA who had a really good rookie year and take his cost control ability over Schwarber's. So Ramirez is a free agent, and he's got 4 years guaranteed on that contract, actually 5 years. But, you know, it's a very movable contract, and you can see he's got good defensive ratings. I think he could play a good shortstop if we just played him there consistently. So... I think he came up as a shortstop, if I remember correctly, and then they bumped him off of there when Lindor came up, obviously. So, we're going to do this trade. That's an easy one to make. Also, Chris Davis did sign on. He took that initial contract of $3 million that we offered him. So, we will DFA Patrick. Actually, let's DFA Yadiel Hernandez to make room. So, I struck out on Addison Russell. He signed with the Cubs. So, I come to the trade machine, the trade box. And I roll Roberto Osuna, who's got very, very good ratings, as you can see, coming off of kind of a down year for him. But we are going to look to bring him in for a poo-poo platter of infielders and crap bag prospects, some filler guys, Annunziata. I'd like to keep Urena if possible, but we'll see. We have Valdez, our Rule 5 pick, and then Adrian Rondon, another prospect there. And it does look like Urena would have to be the guy we give up in this trade. I would rather give up... I don't want to give up Ibanez, and I don't want to give up Padlo or Ramirez, to be honest. I would give up Brandon Lowe. But it seems like they're going to want Urena. And, you know, Urena definitely more valuable than the others that I am mentioning here. So maybe, you know, Urena gets it sorted in his... back on the team that initially assigned him, initially was bringing him up. And yeah, we want to throw Rondon in there. So, giving up on Urena, you know, I still think he was, you know, I don't want. He was almost a 3-win player last year. I don't really know if I want to give that up. He's a solid shortstop. I mean, I don't really think that's worth it, to be honest. God, we'd have to do this deal without Urena. Garrett Whitley almost gets it done. He's a center field prospect for us. Could do him and another prospect, it looks like, or even just like a Justin Williams type. And Whitley, I don't really care for. But if we wanted to use him as a future fourth outfielder, who would take his place? We could give up Kevin Dunn. Wasn't Kevin Dunn a top? Yeah, he was a 7th pick for us. Still hope that he can become an everyday outfielder. Guy to hit the top of the lineup. Because he does not have a lot of power, obviously, but runs the base as well. We could give up, could get rid of the Daniel Norris contract. And we'll probably just give up Whitley in this deal then. So this is going to be the package to get Roberto Osuna. 3 pretty solid prospects, Rondon, Valdez, and Garrett Whitley. None who I'm too nervous about giving up, and then 2 decent potential bench players, Annunziata and Williams, for Roberto Osuna. And we have the money to take on Osuna for this year, so that's why I'm willing to do this. We're not going to get Will Smith, it looks like, either, so I want to add to the bullpen as much as possible. So now our bullpen is looking pretty filthy. If you look at all the guys we're going to have, it's going to be Osuna, Morin, Colome, Rivero, Birdie, Hendricks, probably Biagini. I would say he's going to beat out the rest of these guys for that spot. We don't have a ton of starting pitcher depth, which I don't love. Like Mujica would be our 6th starter, I guess. I don't really love that. So maybe I'll try to look for some cheap guys I can sign and stash in AAA potentially. Well, they should just seal it right here. The Oakland A's moving to Austin, and they become the Orcas. The Austin Orcas. I guess that's kind of a cool name. And their stadium has a capacity of 45,000. But, alright. Alright, so we are just about at opening day, end of the offseason here for the Tampa Bay Rays. And I'd say it's been a successful one. We've made some upgrades. I think overall we should be a better team than we were last year. So, making some final decisions on the last couple of roster spots. We've got to cut it down by 1 more, I believe, unless... Alright, yes, 25 guys. So that means 1 more pitcher and 1 more batter. And it's coming down between Brad Week and Joe Biagini. And Biagini, we could send him to the minor leagues. He looks like he'd probably fill in as the sixth starter if we ever needed him to. But he was good last year for the most part, both at AAA and at the major league level. Looks like he had a pretty absurdly low home run rate, which would obviously be due for regression. The thing with Week is he would be our second lefty, but we have so many good relievers in the pen. I'm not too worried about righty on issues with righty on lefty matchups. So we're gonna send down Week, but he would probably be the first guy up if something were to happen to anybody with our staff. And then as for the bats, the big wrench in our plans is mainly right now because Chris Davis is starting in left field, and Trace Thompson, I like him because he can play all three outfield positions. But this basically puts two first basemen on our bench, which I don't really like. I'd rather just play Bell in right field and Bowers on left and then Davis on the bench. But game doesn't want to do that. Manager doesn't want to do that. So nothing we can do about that. I think that'll fluctuate as the year goes on. Rizzo right now, not even in the lineup, which is curious. Well, I think pretty much the only thing we can do right now is send Trace Thompson down. I think he will... Oh, no, he doesn't have options. We'll have to DFA him. Hopefully he will make it through waivers. If not, we'll see who's available to be claimed on opening day, because plenty of guys get put on waivers on opening day, but I think Thompson will get through. So that will get us down to 25. We'll take a look at the MLB predictions, make some final roster moves, and then end off the episode there. Alright, so we are at opening day. We did not have a single top 10 prospect, although interesting to look at the names every year that do crack the top 10 of preseason predictions. So we are predicted to win 94 games. That would be one more than last year. Pretty similar, I'd say, our ERA. I think that would be a little bit better than our ERA was last year, but the runs, I think we were right around 800 last year. So not too surprising there. I mean, I think that is likely how it'll play out. I think we've done enough that we will at least be able to sustain our success from last year. Might not be that much of an improvement, but a lot of it's going to depend on how guys, if Blake Snell takes a step forward, that would be huge. If Honeywell or Norris improved. I mean, it's not like, we have room for improvement with the guys that were already here, not just the guys that are coming in as the new faces, such as Roberto Osuna, and Liam Hendricks, who I think, will help boost the bullpen this year. And then lineup-wise, we'll see how the infield shakes out. I think we have a little bit more stability there. Hopefully Ibanez takes a step forward. Urena, Ramirez, there's going to be some mixing and matching to be done. And then, of course, Luis Rojas, the big addition to the lineup at catcher. He is slotted to hit sixth for us behind Chris Davis. Davis looks like he maybe will be a real bounce-back candidate, but we'll see. I kind of, I thought he was going to be more of a fourth outfielder type when we were going to play Bell in right field and Rizzo at first. But maybe on the days that Rizzo plays at first, Bell will slot in there and right, and Bowers will move to left. Who knows? But anyway, that is going to do it. So actually, let's take a look at the waivers. I don't think Thompson is going to get claimed, but always good to check the waivers anyway, see if there's anyone worth getting. The thing about these guys is that you have to be able to get them down to AAA. Torreyes would be a nice backup infielder, though. I'll claim him. Jacob Faria would be good pitching depth, as would Buck Farmer. Yeah, let's claim Farmer, why not? I don't know if we'll get any of these guys, but they're all worth putting a claim in on. Micah Johnson, I don't like him enough. The rest of these guys don't interest me, so. Alright, we'll just skip forward a couple days, see if any of those guys end up getting acquired. This is kind of a big trade. Jonathan VR for Mark Melanson. The Torreyes claim was invalid. That means the rest of them might be valid, though. Got opening day against New York. 6-2 win. We get Faria and Buck Farmer, so that's good to add to our pitching depth. So both of these guys we're going to put right back on waivers because I want to get them through to the minor league system. But all right, I'm going to end off the episode here, so I think we're going to end up getting both of these guys into AAA. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy, and this was them out. Peace.